Today, we will be talking about summarizing and paraphrasing. This is the second to the last day of our reading sessions. So, you are already, 14, 15. Okay, maybe we could start. Hopefully, more students will be joining our session later. So, let's begin with summarizing. What is a summary? A summary is a clear, precise, but generally inclusive version of what the author wrote. Its length depends on what are your consideration in writing a summary, its purpose, or assigned task to you. Diba? You have to write a summary of a long research article on a certain topic because you have to report that in class. That's an example of an assigned task. The complexity of the article, that's a major consideration. Yung difficulty in summarizing a manuscript, a composition, depends on the complexity of the article. And lastly, the context where the summary will be part of. Okay? So will you be giving the summary to siguro your classmates, yung audience mo, yung consideration, di ba? Will the summary be disseminated orally, di ba? You will be reading the summary, or will it be a written summary distributed, disseminated to your audience, to your readers? Right? Depending on the time you're given to deliver the summary, the length of the summary will depend on that. Okay? But the first question we also have to consider is, why do we have to summarize? Diba? So the ability to summarize, do you agree, is essential? The skill to summarize is actually useful. Not just in your academic life, but in your in every aspect of your life. But this time, since you are going to enter the university, as I mentioned in the previous days, there will be many instances that you will be required to read an essay, a composition, and you will be asked to give a summary of that article. But that will check your understanding of the content of that material. For example, a book chapter that you're supposed to discuss the following meeting. Yung instructor nyo will assign to you a book pwedeng one chapter only or several chapters of the book, and then you're supposed to give a summary for each chapter. Diba? So it is essential. The ability to summarize will be very essential or important in your university life. Next, what we summarize because that will test our understanding of any reading material. So, ayun nga, as I've said, in connection to what I've mentioned sa first reason, but that will test your understanding of a material. You may, when the instructor asked you, do you understand the reading assignment I asked you to accomplish? Diba? The instructor may test if you really understood the material once you're able to give a good summary of it. Hindi mo lang pwedeng sabihin, yes, I understood the material, ma'am, diba? Pero once you're asked to give a summary of that material, hindi ka makapagbigay. Diba? And also, it's a lifelong skill. Sabi ko nga, in the real world, Actually, you make summaries kahit informally, di ba? Summaries of movies that you watch, di ba? When you retell that story to your friends, or a synthesis of a book that you'd like to recommend. Yung mga example ng usual everyday activities that we perform, that we apply our skill in doing a summary. Okay? So we use a summary when a passage from a source is too long to quote or paraphrase. What's the difference of a summary and a paraphrase? Later we'll talk about paraphrasing, pero we'll focus now on making a summary. So going back, we use a summary when the material, the passage from a source is too long or to quote or paraphrase. You want to include that in your paper. Pero you cannot just copy paste, we know that. Diba? And we cannot quote the entire content because it's too long. So we perform a summary when only the main ideas of a source are relevant to your paper. Yung mga very specific ideas are not so important. You do not need to include in your paper. So main ideas only. So that's when you use a summary versus a paraphrase. When the details in a text might distract or overwhelm or confuse the readers. Sometimes nakakabasa tayo ng ganong mga content articles, di ba? But there are too many examples, definitions, etc. So, parang na-overwhelm tayo, information overload. Pero all you need is to get the gist, yung main ideas of that article and include that in your own paper. So that's when you do a summary. Okay? So how do we summarize? Writing a summary takes time. We have to admit that. Parang it's not just an overnight skill, diba, that you learn. It's not a skill that you learn overnight. Parang you expect to produce, come up, write a good summary, pero kulang ka sa practice. So you have to consider that it takes time, it takes effort to develop your skill in writing good summaries. Okay? Sometimes you get to read a text that may clear naman yung heading, yung title, and you can easily identify the topic sentence, diba? Or topic sentences in every paragraph. What you do is just you put all together those main points, and then you can come up with a good summary already. However, there are instances also na you're not that lucky because the material you're reading is very complex. Ba yung sinasabi natin na walang clear topic sentence yung mga paragraphs. You cannot identify easily the major points of the paragraphs dun sa composition na yun. So yun yung medyo mas challenging. Okay? So it is required, it is necessary that you really understand, read the material before you can come up with a summary. Because in writing a summary, let's take note of this, you are to retain the original tone and mood of the material and the contents and their ordering in the text. You should also use your own words in writing the summary. Okay? Take note of this. So, before you write a summary, try to ask, what is the summary for? But you should know the purpose, why you're writing the summary. Ano ba yung task at hand that you're assigned to do? Kasi that will, of course, a planning, pre-writing stage, that will help you decide on the length of the summary that you will create, diba? The word choice and the format of the summary. Next, what are the obvious signposts that can help you identify the author's main message? Sorry about that. or thesis or major details emphasized in the material. So again, you have to really dissect yung material. Know the title of the text, the different headings, section headings, lalo na kung it's a bit long. If it's possible for you to annotate the printed material, highlight the words or phrases. Kahit minsan kung soft copy man yan, if you have your gadget, your device where you can easily annotate, that would help. So if your purpose is just to clarify or or if you are just tasked to retell yung message of the original author or speaker or writer, presenter, yun yung mga usual instances that we come up with a summary. Halimbawa, nakinig ka ng isang presentation ng instructor mo, tapos after that, an hour-long na lecture, you will be tasked to come up with a summary, ganyan. Sometimes you're tasked to read a 3 to 5 page essay, tapos you will be asked to write a summary. Minsan naman, pwede rin yung may mga film reviews in college, diba? Siguro hindi naman yun bago sa inyo, that you will be asked to write a summary. And very important yung topic natin tomorrow about academic integrity, intellectual dishonesty. Why? Because when you're asked to write a summary of a material, may it be a movie, an essay, etc., you're not supposed to just grab yung summary na yan sa online or in other sources. Kaya gumamit tayo ng mga AI tools, di ba? You are expected, default na yun talaga, you are expected to write good summaries independently. Okay? So, hindi tayo pwedeng umasa na may available reference naman online that we can easily tap or use. Okay? So how do we summarize? Start by reading the text and highlighting the main points as you read. Sabi ko nga, if you have ako old school pa rin kasi, yung style ko, if I can print, I have that opportunity to print the manuscript that I should write a summary for, I do that. Pero if not, I use yung available kong device. Minsan sa PDF naman, di ba, in our own laptops, o kaya nga sa tablets, iPad, we can easily annotate yung material that we're reading. So that would be really helpful. We can annotate, highlight yung main points as we read. Next, again, reread the text and make notes of the main points, leaving out examples, evidence, etc. Kasi yun nga, when you're writing a summary, you don't have that luxury to include talaga too many examples. Sometimes we totally leave or remove those examples, mga very specific details, kasi our goal is to shorten yung ating output. Okay? Next. Without the text, rewrite your notes in your own words, if you can. Restate the main ideas at the beginning of your summary, plus all major points. Include the conclusion or the final findings of the work. So it's good that you parang very skilled ka na, sanay ka na to really identify the topic sentence, the thesis statement muna actually of an essay. Identify the thesis statement, tapos include all the topic sentences or main points of the various paragraphs included in that manuscript or composition. That's how we do our summary. So you asked, use the following questions as you revise your output. Does it have a clear and complete objective presentation of major ideas? Ba? Is it shorter than the original? Sometimes, kapag side by side, we compare yung original manuscript and our work, parang konting-konti lang yung nabawa. So maybe you can go over again your summary and uh, ano ba, refine. Baka may pwede ka pang tanggalin. Yan yung common mistakes din ng students. All, parang they try their best to make a summary, pero yung afterwards, parang ang haba pa rin talaga nung kanilang gawa, comparing it to the original text or manuscript. Are unnecessary words and details omitted or removed? Are ideas rephrased using your own words? Are words or phrases lifted from the original text placed in between quotation marks, if you need to use quotation marks? Diba? Are appropriate transitional devices used to ensure ease in reading? Do you have that habit of using transitional devices para smooth flow yung transitions ng one idea to another? Diba? Yung use of however, yun, yung transitional devices. Para hindi very abrupt yung shift mo ng ideas. Dapat you make use of transitional devices. Is the tense used correct? The past or present tense can be used with the latter preferred over the former. So better daw to use the present tense when we're coming up with a summary. Okay? And then, is the point of view consistent? Either first or third person point of view. Dapat lang consistent. Ganun din sa tense. Yung point of view at saka use of tense, dapat consistent from start to end. Pag past, yung ginamit mo, dapat all throughout your summary, past. Okay, pag first person, unless sinabi talaga nung instructor nyo kung paano siya isusulat. Pero pag walang binigay na specific instruction, you can use either, halimbawa sa point of view, first person, point of view, third person, point of view, basta consistent. Hindi nagsishift. Okay? Ito, just an example. Your task to come up with a summary, yung pwede mong gawin ay, halimbawa, yung original text ay isang newspaper article that talks about a particular problem, okay? Or a position paper of a particular government agency on an issue. Diba? Siyempre, alam natin that hihimayin yung issue na yon nung position paper na yon. So when you come up with a summary, what you can do is follow this format. First, you highlight the effects. E stands for effects or effect, and then C for cause. So una, sabi ko nga, may mahabang position paper, for example, talk about parang dissect or piliin yung what is the major effect that this position paper is arguing about. And then, provide several causes. Pwede namang other way around. Meron ka lang major cause, tapos ito yung mga effects na gusto mong i-highlight because of that. Very effective tong style na to when coming up with a summary. Lalo na kung yung material nga is a position paper or first way, what do you call this? A paper that exposes yung isang issue, talks about an issue, analyze a problem. Following this format and coming up with a summary is very effective. May gumagamit din ito, pero ako personally, this is very, more difficult than the first two. Yung focusing on just one effect, major effect, tapos provide several causes, or focusing on one major cause, tapos provide several effects. Ito kasi, cause, effect, cause, effect. So siguro, kung depende sa original material, pwedeng kung gagawa ka ng 2 to 3 paragraph na summary on a 3-page article, gagawin mo siyang shorter version lang into 2 to 3 paragraphs. So, pwedeng yung style mo, you provide in a paragraph, one major cause, tapos effect. Second paragraph, cause and effect. So yung third paragraph, cause and effect. Depende sa material, kung ano yung applicable na format na gamitin mo. Okay? So another example lang to na style is by using definitions or text discuss the meaning of words or key phrases. So for example, a magazine article describing a new fashion trend or defining a political issue. Ito kasi position paper na ibig sabihin you're fighting for a cause. You're convincing or trying to make the people, you convince yung readers mo on a specific stand sa isang issue. Pero ito, you're just parang impartial stand mo on an issue. Diba? So, ang pwede mong gawin dito ay itong ganitong style format ng summary. Kasi pag gumamit ka ng cause effect, medyo persuasive yung magiging tone ng iyong summary. Pero if you make use of just this one, use a formal definition, mas ano siya, mas neutral yung tone ng iyong summary. Yan, do you get what I mean? So, ito lang yung mga sample format of summaries that you can do kapag ito yung given na original text. Okay? So, what are the final reminders or checklists on coming up with an effective summary? Number one, you should never forget yung main idea, the thesis statement of that article, of that essay. You write the original author if possible. You cite, okay? Only major points are included. Minor points, if not really very important, you already have to remove that in your summary. Okay? Examples, illustrations, very detailed stories, dates, statistical figure, kung wala namang very big impact na gagawin yun dun sa summary mo, all those are omitted. Personal opinions and reactions are also excluded. As much as possible, we want our summaries to be impartial, neutral yung tone. Next, for the organization and structure, phrases and sentences are not just copy and paste. Copied and pasted dun sa yung summary. Okay, you use your own words. Sentences are clearly constructed. Better to use simple sentences, yung construction ng sentence nyo, kaysa very complex sentences that yung tendency ay mas nagiging complicated yung dating or not easily understood by your readers. But in the first place, we are trying to come up with a summary so that our audience can easily grasp yung main idea or gist of a very long material. Diba? Kung very complex rin naman yung style of writing mo in your summary, baka hindi ka maging effective. Okay? Appropriate verb tenses are used. So just check yung basic grammatical correctness ng iyong summary. Subject-verb agreement should also be checked. Okay? Quoted phrases or lines from original material are placed in between quotation marks. Okay? So, the time now is already 10:30. Medyo mahaba yung ibibigay kong time for you to accomplish yung first activity natin for the summary. Because, yun nga, you have to write summaries as expected. Yun ang exercise natin for today. So, I will kindly check your Canvas page for let me just publish the exercise for today. Ay, gawin nyo muna yung exercise 1. summarizing. So let us discuss the instruction for exercise 1 just to make sure that everyone understands the instruction. Share screen. Ayan. Can you see my screen? For exercise 1, the instructions state that choose any online advertisement. So you can access or use your internet to access any online advertisement. It should be a notice or a short announcement promoting a product, service, or event. It's not a video commercial. Okay, just an ad, an online ad. Okay, and then list the main details of the ad. You may include yung layout, diba, the color, images, aside from the actual message. And then identify the message of the ad. You're supposed to write in the first paragraph, describe the ad by including its most important and obvious features and the main message it wants to convey. And then in the succeeding 2 to 3 paragraphs, maximum of 3 paragraphs lang. Short, siguro 5 to 7 sentences per paragraph. Explain how persuasive the ad is. Siguro reason why you choose that ad. Ano yung persuasive characteristic ng ad na yon. Okay, that's for exercise 1. So you can write on come up with a Word document. Tapos that's the file you will upload para sa exercise for this exercise on summarizing. Sa exercise 2 naman, you just have to construct a 1-sentence summary of the following paragraphs. Ito medyo mas challenging. Exercise 3. Rewrite paragraphs 1 to 5. Come up with a summary, 1-paragraph summary of the following paragraphs. So there are 5 paragraphs. Yung challenge sa inyo is to come up with a 1-paragraph summary. Okay, let me address a question. Should the ad be more on image or text? Either, pwede. So long as it's not a video ad, video commercial, not a video infomercial, ganyan. Okay lang. It could be focused on an image or a text. Pero be ready to capture that ad kasi later when I ask you to share your output, siguro I'll ask you to share first yung original ad tapos side by side with your write-up about that. Okay? So, hindi naman ako very specific. If it's very minimal text or medyo mahaba yung text ng ad na yon na mapipili mo. Okay? Do you have any more questions? So, siguro we can the list of my ideas and messages. Okay. I will not be very strict about that. Siguro you may want to talk about first yung main ideas in 1 paragraph, tapos second paragraph na yung message identification or yung discussion nyo about the main message of the ad. So long as yung organization nyo ay may focus. Halimbawa, hindi nag-shift in 1 paragraph, main idea, and then you talk about a particular image dun sa ad na yon. Lagyan nyo ng organization. Basta yung challenge, maximum of 3 paragraphs. You can come up with a summary of that ad already. Okay? Maximum of 3. So you can just come up with 1 or 2 paragraphs. Okay? So you could start, we'll meet again we'll start discussing the answers at, it's 10:35, siguro 11:20. Kasi maiksi na lang naman yung paraphrasing. 11:20. Okay? So, sige. Start answering.
So, so this is the ad that I found. Sorry for the bad quality. So you guys can take a look at it first. So it's an ad from Subway advertising their famous footlong in buy one take one or buy one get one free promo. So sorry I can't show the ad while I show my explanation, but basically I like this specific ad because each and every element and artistic decision is intentional and serves a practical purpose. First of all, the inclusion of the two sandwiches makes viewers crave for the sandwich itself, which is the point. And also the inclusion of the company color scheme also helps convey the message of freshness for green and energy or excitement for yellow. And finally, the short. Also, if you guys can notice, the ad doesn't actually include the word Subway itself, but you can automatically identify it as a Subway ad by the color scheme itself, as well as the logo, the arrow logo. And finally, the warning is short yet concise and delivers the message effectively and efficiently. So I think this is a very good uh, ad. It's eye-catching, persuasive, and delivers the message with the least amount of words, which is perfect for today's era of short attention spans and overabundance of other online and physical advertisements. Thank you.
Okay, great job, Gabriel. No, you were able to comment on how the layout or the design effectively convey the message that the ad wants to tell the audience. Diba? So make sure you submit your document or upload that in Canvas so that I can give your corresponding score. And also for everyone, that goes for everyone. Make sure that you submit your file. You can just submit one file for all the exercises for today. So it's easier for me to just download or check one file for each student. Okay? Is there anyone else who would like to share their output? Wala na, sige. Let us just continue answering exercises for today. Mhm. Okay, let's try to answer. I only have three numbers for this exercise. Three paragraphs that you're supposed to write a one-sentence summary. So for number one, volunteers aside from Gabriel, don't get me wrong, Gabriela, but I just want others to also participate in our session for today. Not stopping you to participate. Any other volunteers? Sige, I'll try to answer number one. So the challenge is to just write one sentence summary. So I'm good. Go ahead, Martin. Martin. Go ahead.
The summary I wrote for number one is taking note of important events in a calendar can help in managing a person's time.
Very good. Diba? Very clear, easy to understand, and the main idea is intact. Diba? So for me, my answer is similar to his answer. No, my answer is I get more schoolwork and chores done by keeping track of my obligations on a calendar. Thank you. So you can use your own words, diba? And make it as simple as possible. Next, for number 2. Number 2. Konti na lang tayo. You're only 12 in the session. Volunteer, please. May I request Carla to share your answer for number 2? Carla. Maybe we can try Alan. Alan, can you share your answer for number 2? Probably, baka hindi pa natapos, diba? Pero I'll just share my answer for this one. Let me just review this. Okay. For this one, I'll try. So I cited the authors of the passage. So Lavert and Little, open and close parenthesis, yung 2020 because it is provided, diba? Yung author and the year of publication. So Lavert and Little, 2020 highlights the distinct ability of the entrepreneur as opposed to a small business owner, to identify, create, and introduce a new business method, product, or model. That's my summary for that long paragraph. A comparison, diba yung in our discussion kanina, a comparison between two different personalities, yung an entrepreneur as opposed to a small business owner. And for the last number, dito, about SWOT analysis. Siguro you can use the styling definition using the definition of this technique or method. Of course, since this, for number 3, there are 3 paragraphs, you can come up with at least or more than one sentence. Diba? So who would like to try for number 3? Go ahead, Sophia. Thank you.
Conducting a SWOT analysis enables individuals to identify personal strengths and weaknesses, uncover unforeseen opportunities, and mitigate threats, thereby enhancing career advancement and achieving personal objectives.
Very good. Pero you compress it into just one long sentence. Tama ba? Am I correct?
Yes po.
Yes. But of course, there will be no wrong answers for this one because it's a summary. It depends on the author how you write the summary, but I can just give you comments of. I'd like to share my answer also. For me, I used the definition technique, diba? And I came up with 2 sentences to summarize itong 3 paragraph long na passage. So, SWOT analysis is a technique that helps you identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Period. And then the second sentence, understanding and managing these factors helps you to develop the abilities you need to achieve your goals and progress in your career. Okay? Thank you. Sige, for exercise 3, again, I'd like you to just, if you're not able to finish it today, make sure to, within the day, kahit late afternoon or later this evening, just make sure to submit so that I can check all your work by the end of the week, so tomorrow. Okay? So, now let's proceed dun sa next subtopic for today, paraphrasing. So how is it different from summarizing or coming up with a summary? I'd just like to reiterate, di ba, how we define a summary kanina. A summary is a condensed version of an original text. Usually, it's more concise than the original and contains only the main ideas of the source. So you remove the other very specific ideas such as examples, dates, numbers, statistics. Ayan. A summary is a condensed version of an original text. On the other hand, what is a paraphrase, diba? It is a rewording of an original message in the same language as the original. It involves the systematic substitution of one lexical term. Sometimes na yung pinaka-common na style na ginagawa ng mga students ay talagang just substituting a synonym for a specific word, 'di ba? Pero that's the most basic style of or technique in paraphrasing. Hopefully you can improve yung style mo in writing a paraphrase. So again, going back, lexical item, expression, or sentence for another, and the finished product closely resembles the original in structure and in length. Take note of that. So you do not actually, yung goal mo is not to really come up with a concise and condensed version of the original text. Just to reword it, rephrase it, so that parang you're borrowing the idea of the original author, pero you rephrase it, you try to make it siguro simpler so that your audience can understand you. Kasi in the first place, for example, you're a reader of a manuscript, diba? Why do you want to paraphrase? Because you want to understand a material better. That's why you use your own words, diba? Pero when you're the one writing, why do you paraphrase? You do it because you want to include the borrowed information from another author. You want to include that in your paper, for example, diba? And you want your readers understand the original idea from a source that you cited in your paper about something that is easier to understand because it has been already worded to fit your purpose dun sa paper mo. Pero again, you do not own that idea. We give proper citation. Sometimes we can always use direct quotation from a source, pero we do not discourage that kasi that gives also credibility. Kahit sa speech mo, in oral speech or in writing, when we use direct quotation, that gives more credibility to your work. Kasi diba, you're citing someone who's an authority in a specific field that you're talking about. Alam natin na at this point, as students, we're not experts. We're not really authority in a specific field. That's why we cite information from the experts. Pero, parang imagine a paper or a speech na talagang punong-puno na quotation, direct quotation from a source. Diba? So we always have to keep yung quoting a source to a minimum. That would be very convenient for us if we will just be quoting someone. Pero pag sobrang dami na ang paggamit natin ng quotation, that gives a bad impression of our output of our halimbawa speech or yung ating manuscript. Okay? Minsan yung ibang students sinasabi pa, "Ma'am, there's no better way to write or present the same idea than just to use the exact wording of the source." Of course not. That is not true. There would always be parang not better pero a more fitting way. A more fitting way or appropriate way of saying, restating the idea so that it would fit yung usage mo. sa kanya, okay? So again, we want to keep to a minimum yung usage of direct quotation. Hindi kasi you're not actually, baka gusto maging collection of quotes na lang yung paper mo. That is not good. Okay? So we always try to paraphrase. Okay? Have you developed yung skill ninyo in paraphrasing way back in senior high school? Okay, so now let's try to review what are the steps in paraphrasing. I mentioned kanina, di ba, na parang let's try to avoid falling into the trap of just doing a literal paraphrasing. Yung just parang substituting word per word ng synonymous terms. To avoid that, yung pinaka-technique is just think of the meaning or the idea. Huwag kang mag-focus dun sa specific words or phrases. Kasi pag ganun, yung tendency mo talaga is just to look for a substitute synonymous term. Okay? So, let's review. Number 1, identify the main points. Diba? Kaya dun tayo nagsimula. Identifying the topic sentence in a paragraph, the thesis statement of composition dito sa reading subject, kasi reading part ng English. Kasi lahat yon nagbe-build up to our topic ngayon for today, paraphrasing and summarizing. The identification of main points in a paragraph or in an essay is very important. So determine how these points are related. And then attend to form and structure by, yes, you can use or replace transitional words and phrases that convey relationship. Diba? So, ano yung mga transitional words na to? You can use, for example, yung word as such as like, or as, or such as, ganyan, but, and however. If contrasting idea naman yung sinasabi mo, diba? There are also instances that we make use of clauses in a sentence so that parang to give emphasis or to mark a relationship between a previous and a previous idea to another idea that you want to cite in your sentence. Pero let's be very careful in doing that kasi sometimes pag very complex yung sentence, hindi lang tayo prone to grammatical errors pero yung idea ay hindi nagiging clear to your readers. Next, consider changing keywords or word formation. For example, from noun to verb. Ayan, maganda lagi na inactive form yung ating sentence. Next, of course, in here we have to cite the source. There are so many ways to cite a reference or a source. Diba? Depending doon sa instructions that will be given to you. Sometimes, for example, in our field, say arts and humanities and communication, we make use of APA style, APA citation. For the social sciences, usually MLA style. Pero ang dami pa dyan pa yung Harvard. Diba? So, there are so many referring style. Kailangan lang you just have to follow yung directions or instructions sa inyo and be familiar with that referring the format used sa style ng citation na ipapagamit sa inyo. Okay? Basta, what is important here is that you attribute to the owner of the idea yung ginamit ninyo. Kasi if you will not do that, you are committing what? That's our topic for tomorrow. Proper
Plagiarism.
citation. Good. Plagiarism or intellectual dishonesty or simply theft. And in UP, naku, napaka-sensitive ng topic na yan. Way back pa, talaga plagiarism is a big no-no. Di ba yung ating principles? Honor and excellence. Honor always comes first before excellence. Kasama dito yung intellectual honesty when you write anything. So do not forget that proper attribution to the owner of an idea. Next, check for consistent tone. Siyempre yung tone ng original manuscript. Okay? Huwag mong babaguhin when you're paraphrasing. What else? What are the other reminders? Avoid literal paraphrasing. Don't do word-for-word substitution. Focus on the main idea first and then deal with changing some words last. Include sub-ideas. Exclude your own interpretation of the information. Pero ito, we can play around this, yung rule na exclude your own interpretation of the information. Kasi sometimes when we restate an idea, parang it's difficult to totally remove yung ating interpretation, di ba? Pero make sure hindi siya malayo dun sa original idea kasi still you're citing a reference. Okay? Credit it to a source using an author prominent or information prominent citation. So depending nga dun sa style ninyo. Tomorrow in our discussion, we will be discussing APA format. Diba? One part lang yun ang discussion natin tomorrow, pero mostly kasi in college, so kung sa mga GE courses that you'll be taking, whatever course you'll be in UP Manila, yung final course, most probably magkakaroon naman kayo ng GE course that you will take from the College of Arts and Sciences sa CAS. Kahit hindi yung course nyo ay hindi from the college. So yung GE course, diba? So more or less may mga papers talaga kayong gagamit sa first 2 years or first 4 semesters nyo in college. So very important that we review proper citation. So tomorrow, I encourage you to attend our final session in reading. We'll talk about proper citation, intellectual dishonesty, plagiarism, the use of AI. Okay? So hopefully you can come. I'll ask you just to perform yung exercise sa Canvas for paraphrasing on your own, pero very short lang naman siya. I only have how many? 3. You will just write a paraphrase for how many ba to? 5 items or 5 paragraphs. You will be asked to paraphrase. Yan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. Okay? So, syempre, your answers will vary. Kaya I will just be checking your output sa Canvas. So, again, do not forget to upload within the day. So, that's it. That's it for today. Thank you for finishing our session for today from start to end. I'll dismiss you now and I'll see you all tomorrow. Hopefully, I encourage everyone to attend our final session. Do not miss that kasi very useful pa rin yung mga points of discussion natin for your academic life in UP. Okay? Salamat. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Mm-mm.